Yeah, and Christian, we see this a lot. It's a real problem. Okay, it really bothers me because, as I mentioned, like Gold Track is one program that I'm very involved in, like in trying to help European companies. You get those early companies, and they're already a little screwed up at that point. Okay, like take the cap table as one example. We call it a contaminated cap table. That's what we internally say, because they have investors in there, like the Kreissparkasse Tuttlingen or whatever. I mean.
Commerzbank Burgenland.
Yeah, and I'm not like this great that they are supportive and helping innovation. But what's their mindset? The mindset of those investors and then potentially board members is that they invest $500,000 and have an obligation to bring $700,000 back. Okay, if you then have a conversation with them and say like we are raising $50 million. The guy freaks out. Doesn't know how to handle it. He's not even permitted to go there. Okay, therefore, because that's a real risk then. Okay, and this is high risk, high return, right? I mean, this is where the mindset then becomes an issue, where the management teams with the bold ideas get stuck because they got themselves into a situation that's surrounded with people who safeguard and and again, I'm not complaining about it because that's those people's job. It just makes it very difficult to then sort of go for where it matters. And like Third we would never invest in something for $2 million because we have no time for it. It's like you picking up some bottles of empty Coke bottles and Sprite bottles, and you're like, yeah, I can get 20 cents for it. It's like, why wouldn't you pick it up? Why don't you pick it up? Because you need to bring it home, you have to carry it, you have to wash it, you have to bring it to the store, and then you get 20 cents. I'm like, forget it. Let's just not go there, okay? And I think that's a very common thinking of an investor because it's not worth it. They rather sit on the board on 10 companies in Boston because that's the big life science hub. And they can do this within minutes. They have to travel to Europe to sit on a board. And then it only makes sense if they have a chance to invest $20, $30 million. Otherwise, it just makes no sense for them. But the Kreissparkasse Tuttlingen doesn't allow for that, right? Therefore, I think it's a real thing. And we forget that as young entrepreneurs, how much we get ourselves in problems that could be avoided if we start out on a different foot.